What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video here today for round number 13, I believe this is, of Apex Online Racing. Here today for the Belgium Grand Prix. Not gonna lie, I was fairly confident of being able to score a win coming into this race. I was in the 42s in practice. I felt like that was good enough to hopefully maybe grab me pole position and maybe grab a race win, but obviously, things could change, anything could happen. This is league racing after all, but let's go get into qualifying and hopefully we can have a good one, but let's go find out. Alright, here we are in the garage for qualifying for the Belgium Grand Prix. Dry qualifying and race, so we don't have to worry about any wet weather, so yeah, full dry weekend, so that's good. But at the start of qualifying, not gonna lie, I was a bit perplexed on what to do really, because I wanted to save maybe one or two sets of softs in case maybe a safety car came out at the end of the race or something, or something happened. So what I actually decided to do was go for a harder tyre selection, and I actually decided about halfway through qualifying that I was going to really take a big risk and risk it for the chocolate biscuit and only set one time lap at the end on the soft compound tyres, and hope that that was good enough to get me, if not pole position, at least on the front two rows. So it's probably going to be a bit of this is a gamble, not going to lie. If this doesn't work and we make a mistake or something, this could really backfire, and we could be starting back down in like P18. And if we start all the way back down here, then I don't try to doubt myself, but I definitely don't see us winning this race. But we'll see what we can do. Initially, I basically just went out on the hards, basically just to pass some time really. I was actually going to help my teammate out, but I think he invalid like 3 separate times or something, so that kind of threw that plan out the window. But coming on to about 5 minutes ago, I decided to go out for a run on the medium tyres actually, and what I was actually going to do here was, if the lap was good enough to keep me within half a second of Pete Crichton, then I probably would have actually finished it. But if it wasn't, I decided I'd back out, and we're not that far off coming through the second sector, as you could have seen up the top left. So I was thinking whether I complete this lap or not, but in the end I decided, you know what, I'll back out of it. I actually caught a little bit of traffic in form of Aaron and 40. Oh god, where am I going? Yeah, so that kind of probably would have hurt us a little bit anyway, so in the end I just decided, nope, let's just back out of it, it's not worth it, and let's just come in effectively. Let's go for a one-shot qualifying on the soft compound tyres right at the end of the session, and just see if we can get up near the front. Front two rows would be ideal. Obviously pole position is what would be ideal, but then on some level actually qualifying on pole isn't really so great around here, because obviously the slipstream that you get up out of Eau Rouge and obviously along the very long straight after Eau Rouge is very powerful, and you probably get overtaken by like 2, maybe 3 separate cars. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on and where we do end up. But going out at the end of the session now, teammate graciously lets us go. I think he was going to try and get a bit of a slipstream off us, but here we go for a one-shot qualifying lap. So let's get into it. Down into turn 1 now, brake at the 100 metre board, down through the gears, try and get the nose in, short shift up to second, then up to third, hard on the gas. Pretty decent run out of there.
30
a
seconds
pretty
left
good
in the session.
run through the first corner. Now up through Rouge, flat through here, no lifting at all, not even in the wet really. Sorry if you can hear a little little noise in the background. There's notifications for messages going off as well, so I apologise for that. But anyway, coming through the second sector now, pretty good run in the first sector. We're pretty much on par with Pete Crichton, so we're looking good for the moment. Coming through the second sector now, a little lock up on the right front, that's not going to do us a world of good at all. Coming through no name corner, I think is, well, that's what I've heard everybody call it, so that's what we're going to go with. Up the 7th gear now, down through pull, and now shift down into 6th gear, only momentarily. Overtake on the ARS as J-Banks goes provisional pole position for the Toro Rosso team, so really nice lap from him there. Coming on now We're still going. This is a pretty decent lap. This should hopefully maybe get us on the front row, coming to the second sector now. What is it? We're basically about a tenth, half a tenth up on J Banks at the moment, so this is going to be very, very close to nabbing pole position. We're going to have to nail this final chicane and then some if we want to park this Williams on the front row of the grid. Coming up to the bus stop chicane now, hard on the brakes, down through the gears, we get the nose in, shift down into first gear, short shift up into second and up into third, hard on the gas now. We're basically out of ERS. Is it going to be P1? Yes it is, on a 142.8. We go provisional pole position, and I can say we do keep that. Pete Crichton did improve, gets himself back onto the front row of the grid alongside us in P2, but wasn't quite enough to knock us off pole position, so we maintain P1, and yeah, that was a really, really good lap. Could have easily gone wrong, however, but we pulled a rabbit out of the hat at the end, and it's pole position for the Belgium Grand Prix, so we're starting right where we want to be. So let's go get into the race and hopefully maybe come away with another win, but let's go to the Belgium Grand Prix. Alright, welcome guys to the grid of the Belgium Grand Prix. Pole position once again, so right where we want to be. Our old rival Pete Crichton alongside us, and then we have all Toro Rosso second row I think of X Revolution and J Banks as well, so be interesting to see if those two can maybe try and get a jump start on us. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, I think this track is probably going to be, it's probably going to be a big slipstream fest. Not going to lie, would be my honest opinion. Obviously, if you know, mistakes are made, which is also easy enough to do around this racetrack. You know, some people might be able to break away. That was really what I was aiming to do for the first part of this race. Not going to lie, was just try and set a really quick pace and break away as fast as I could, and even if I drag maybe the likes of Pete, Josh and Revolution along, if we could maybe like 4 or 5 of us break away from the rest of the field, then hopefully that would be nice. But going on to the end of the formation lap, and I don't know if I was maybe going too slow for everybody's liking there, and Pete Crichton just decides to completely run up the back of us, so I appreciate that. But anyway, so here we go. Awaiting 5 red lights for the Belgium Grand Prix, and away we go. Looks like a pretty decent start. Bit of wheel spin in third gear. J Banks with a real good launch. Pete Crichton going to try and go round our outside. J Banks up into P2 it looks like now, potentially looking for a move on us. And Pete Crichton now down into third, but Slipstream's going to come into it out of Eau Rouge, so he could easily jump back up into P2. So this might not work out for us. We might end up dropping down into P3. J Banks now looking to the outside. Pete Crichton in our slipstream, looking for an avenue up the middle, but we just don't leave him enough room, so there's no way through for him there, but he gets the move done on J Banks. He gets back up into P2. That could have been 3 wide, but I didn't want to let that happen, so he didn't go for the move. He looks to try and go up our inside, lock up on the right front. We've run wide. He tries to shove the nose of that silver arrow up our inside, but nothing going for him there. And we maintain the lead of the Belgium Grand Prix for now. Coming on to lap 2 though, Pete tries to dive up our inside, and we just maintain the position. Do we still there? We just leave him enough room, side by side now, and we just maintain the lead. We defend to the inside a little bit. I wanted to cover off a dive, because if you guys have watched majority of my league races, you know Pete is not shy about going for the big boy yeet to try and get by us, so we'll probably have to watch out for that a little bit at some point during this race. Coming on to lap 3, there's still a fairly decent train behind us as well. Fastest lap of the race as well at the beginning of lap 4, so we're running a fairly hot solid pace here at the front, not going to lie. Trying to save a bit of fuel and a bit of ERS as well. Coming on to lap 5, Pete Crichton tries to go up our inside again, and we run a little bit wide. He kind of runs us out of road a little bit there, but in saying that, I overshot the corner a little bit myself, so you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But coming on to lap 7 now, looking for a move into the bus stop, and it is about pit stop time, and Pete pulls into the pits, and we do the exact same. J Banks stays out there in the Toro Rosso, maybe trying an overcut. So into the pits we come now, and it's going to be a battle between Mercedes and Williams. J Banks fastest lap of the race as well, so he could overcut us yet, so we're going to have to watch out and see where he comes out in all this, but this is going to be a battle of the pit crews. Can Williams get us out ahead of the Mercedes driver? Good clean stop, away we go. Do we get ahead? No, we actually goes into Pete's car there, but unfortunately not quite enough to get ahead of the Mercedes, so he maintains effectively the lead of the race. We're still in P2 effectively behind him. We've got Andre right behind us as well, so we're going to have to try and hold him off, but luckily we've got DRS off the Mercedes, so hopefully we should be right and be able to hold him at bay. So, and we do. Getting on to lap 9 now, and we're right up the back of the Mercedes driver once again, and with rich fuel mixture overtake, DRS, we're going to just drive clean around his outside, and that was really no contest there, with no slipstream or anything to help him out. That was basically a done deal before we even got to the braking zone. So back up into the lead of the Belgium Grand Prix, and I want to bring something up. Unfortunately right now, we've actually had a DRS failure about 3 corners ago, so basically about halfway through lap 9, just after I cut away from that previous shot, a DRS actually failed, so we're making a move on Crossy in the racing point on lap 10. Pete right behind us undoubtedly will follow us through. Crossy basically lets us both go there, knows it's not worth fighting us, so make a move on the racing point. That's up into P4. 40 is next in the queue to try and pick off. Cutting onto lap 11, Pete tries to go around here outside, bit of contact, sparks flying, I beg your pardon, the English is terrible today, and it looks like there's a car off the road up ahead of us. That's 40, who's completely lost it. I don't know what on earth happened there. He completely did that on his own as well, because there was no one around him. Pete lagging a little bit as well, so that's not really what you want to see. So this is definitely looking like a battle between us two for probably the 500th time now. We're in the slipstream, DRS, overtake, rich fuel mixture. We should get this move done. Team radio.
The time last lap was a 1 minute 47.8.
Alright, just checking to see if Pete had any penalties. He does not. We don't either. I think we're only on 1 warning, and I think Pete's actually on no warning, so it's going to come down to who can cross the line first, it looks like. But coming up to lap 15, he makes a move with DRS coming out of Eau Rouge, just like we did to him. So cutting on to the very next lap, we're going to return the favour. DRS, overtake, rich fuel mixture, around the outside, and back up into the lead we go. So just toing and froing with the Mercedes driver at the moment. 1 lap we lead, next lap he does. And yeah, this is kind of just zigzagging back and forth at the moment, but cutting on to the final lap of the race now, and this is going to be really, really close. Pete is going to have DRS on us. Undoubtedly we'll try and make a move, so we're going to have to try and make sure we nail every exit, every apex, and just put an absolutely perfect lap in. We get a real good run out of turn 1, and he's actually dropped quite a way back, so we might actually be safe coming out of Eau Rouge here. We've got a fairly big margin. We might be safe here, trying to break the slipstream for just a split second if we can to help ourselves out. And it looks like we're actually going to be safe here on the brakes now, and he hasn't been able to make a move, so we've survived one potential overtaking spot, and I think there's really only the bus stop chicane for him now, so going to be really interesting. But we've gone really wide there. He almost gets up our inside there. That could have been really disastrous for our race if we had to let him through there. Thankfully though, we were able to cut back in front of him before he was able to sneak under us. So we maintain the lead now through Poulon for the final time. We've got just a few car lengths on the Mercedes driver. We just need to nail these last couple of corners, and hopefully we should come away with another win here in Apex Online Racing. Around the final couple of corners now, we just need to nail this exit to try and get good driving, get away from him. We're only a couple of car lengths up the road, rich fuel mixture and overtake now, and this is basically a drag race up to the bus stop chicane now, and we've got 3-4 car lengths on him, so we should be good. We're going to come up to the bus stop chicane now, and as long as we nail this chicane, we should be good to win the race. Here we go, on the brakes, and you can see him coming in the mirrors, and he completely drives into us. I don't know what he was doing there, but anyway, we're going to come across the line and win the race, but bloody hell, what was going on there? Alright, so there we go guys, that has been today's video. Apex Online Racing, round 13 for the Belgium Grand Prix. Pretty good race, we had solid pace, decent little battle with the Mercedes, up until the final chicane. I don't know what on earth he was even thinking of then, but anyway. But yeah, that's all from me today guys. If you guys enjoyed, remember to leave a like, subscribe, stay tuned for plenty more. And until my next video, I'll see you guys next time.